The Pleasant Grove City Council on January 7th, 2020, and I'd like to excuse Mayor Fugel, who is on vacation with his family, and wish him the very best. We're going to start tonight's City Council with Pledge of Allegiance by Sid Lamone and opening remarks by Dion Giles.
Will the audience please stand? And repeat the pledge with me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we're grateful for all the many blessings and the freedoms that we have. We're grateful that we can meet as citizens and staff and elected officials of the city, and we're grateful for this city and the comforts we have. We're grateful for the moisture that we've received, and we pray that we may continue to receive additional moisture for the summer. We pray that we can take the issues which are in front of us tonight and think about them and do what is best for the city. And we say these things in Jesus Christ's name.
Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Dion. We have a little changing of the guards tonight with some newly elected officials, with Sid Lamone, Eric Jensen, and Brent Bullock being sworn in tonight. We'll turn the time over to Kathy, who will administer those oaths. We'd like to thank Lynn Walker. We did a little bit of a ceremony in our work session today, but for the public, he served valiantly for 4 years with us here, and we wish him the very best of luck in his future. All right, Kathy.
All right. Sid, do you want to?
Do we want to do this down front here, Kathy?
Okay, good.
Tyler, you're going to get some photos.
Do it right in front, kind of facing this way.
You can photo mine.
Raise your right arm. I state your name. I, Sid Lamone, do solemnly affirm that I will support, obey and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
What happened?
Kathy. Okay, Mr. Jensen. Councilmember Jensen, meet your lovely bride. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Eric Jensen,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Utah,
of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties
the duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity.
Mr. Bullock?
Mr. Bullock.
Do you want us photobombing?
No, we're gonna come over here. We'll arrange the chairs right.
It's gonna be kicking and screaming, just Scott, just so you know.
Oh.
Brent, you come this way.
Either way.
I just thought you were I thought he was headed towards the door as well.
His movie doesn't start at 7.
His new movie has his own YouTube channel.
Thank you, Kathy.
Well, we look forward to hearing how Lynn does in is this his 3rd retirement or 4th retirement? And look forward to working with Councilperson Bullock. All right, well, I'll take a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the exception of item 10B being continued to January 21st. Is that correct? Okay.
Yep, that's right. Got a first, a second.
Second.
Okay. Do I need to do anything there? I guess we'll
We're good.
approve tonight's meeting agenda. All right. We're going to open it up now to our open session. If you've got, like to address the Mayor Pro Tem and council, would invite you to come up and speak to the council.
Denise, make sure the mic's on. Just
Doesn't sound like it's on.
I'm Denise Trickler. Recently, over the winter holiday break, we had some papers put on a couple of our cars in our cul-de-sac, and just saying that we cannot park straight into our sidewalk. And I have a big problem with that. In a cul-de-sac, we have 7 cars in our family. There is no way for us to not park. And then there's a fire hydrant right there too. There's no room for us to park parallel. And I don't know who to bring this up to, so I'm bringing it to you guys because I don't know if we can change the ordinance or what. But there is no way, because our neighbors all do the same, because one neighbor has 6 cars, another has 5 cars, another has 3 cars. There is no way for us to all park parallel, the ones that park on the street. And I need to know how to get this changed so that we can park at our house and not down the road.
Thanks, Denise. This is probably a snow removal ordinance,
Is it?
I would
Is that what
assume.
it's?
No snow is ever removed from our cul-de-sac.
That might be the reason though,
That
is
is-
because they
that would be
can't
the
turn around
reason.
with the cars.
They have to be able to turn around. Do you know,
Well-
Dion, if that's,
So
There's too many vehicles in there, they can't access it.
well, they have no place to put the snow. So they go into a cul-de-sac, and then they make a big sweeping curve.
Yeah.
And then they push the snow out of the cul-de-sac. So if there's cars parked all in there, they can't come in, and then they can't turn around, and then they can't push the snow out.
let's do this. Why don't we, Scott, can you just,
Yeah, let me get
Talk
with
to
Denise
Denise
and
and
we'll sit down and
sit
talk
down,
through what
that'd
the
be great.
options are.
That'd be
so.
great.
okay, thanks for bringing it up to us, though.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't even know that was a
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
thing, so.
Yeah, So I don't know, this is not like an official warning or anything, it's just paper saying this is what the laws are.
Policy, uh-huh.
And I'm just like, oh, please don't give us tickets.
Yeah.
But anyway, and also, when you guys, do you know if when you build the pickleball courts, are you gonna put in more parking? Because the parking lot is so full.
Yeah.
I know it's only gonna be for 2 weeks, but
There'll be parking.
is there gonna be more parking put in? The high school takes up so much room.
Yeah, that was the thought process
Okay,
behind
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
it. Thanks, Denise. Anyone else to address the council? Okay, we'll now close the open session and move to the consent items. Have a motion to approve.
Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion to approve the consent items for tonight.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion is approved. Okay, moving to, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Sorry, that's my fault.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. All right, we'll move to boards, commissions, and committee appointments. Every year, we appoint a new mayor pro tem for 2020. I'll take not only conversations, but
I'll make a
a
motion.
motion. Okay,
Motion, is that all right?
it's fine.
Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion to elect Diana Anderson as Mayor Pro Tem for the 2020.
Second?
Does Diana want to have a,
No, I've done it before, and I feel comfortable accepting this, so.
And
Okay.
just so
On the condition that Mayor Fugel doesn't go to Hawaii every week.
he's only been twice, and this is my second time.
Yes, he's
so
actually very, very good
He's
about
very,
that.
very good. All
Well, and
right,
just so the public is aware, every year at our first meeting, we nominate what's called a mayor pro tem who will step in during the year at events and meetings in the absence of the mayor. And Diana's turn is up. We kind of rotate through and I'll take our turn. And
Yeah.
Brent, you'll probably be up soon, so get ready.
As soon as he
Yeah.
passes his Robert's Rules of
Yeah.
Order. No. we-
Brent, any thoughts on the mayor pro tem?
It's fine with me.
Okay, all right, I'll look for, let's, all in favor for Diana Anderson to serve as the mayor pro tem for 2020?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Congrats, Mayor Pro Tem Anderson.
Thank you.
Does that mean I just turn the agenda over to you now?
You could if you needed to go.
No, it's fine. We'll keep going for a little bit. All right, let's move to 9A, a public hearing for an adoption of ordinance 20-1, amending the city code section 10-11-D-2, commercial sales 2 zone permitted conditional and accessory uses by amending the conditional use 1151 townhomes 2 to 3 stories with a garage. Director Cardenas.
Mayor Pro Tem Council, this item is for a code amendment. Right now, the CS2 zone allows for townhomes 2 or 3 stories with a garage to have a maximum of 6 dwelling units attached per building, meaning that for every long structure or any structure, the maximum of dwellings you can have right now is 6 attached dwellings. What the applicant is proposing is to change that from 6 to 8. So again, the code allows for townhomes, but only up to 6. The code talks about something that when it goes up to 8 units or some more than 6, what's the preferable or more desire is the big house style, right? So there's some pictures and they're in our ordinance of what a big house style is. This item went to Planning Commission. Planning Commission analyzed it. Planning Commission discussed it, and at the end, they for a recommendation of approval to change it from 6 to 8. with no conditions, just like that, the recommendation was 4-3. Okay, so 4 members of the Planning Commission thought that it was appropriate to change the maximum dwellings attached without any extra conditions from 6 to 8. The other 3 members, they thought that in order to go to 8 dwellings, something else needed to be done, such maybe stagger the buildings a little bit more or increase the required setback. Right now, the setback that we have, it's 25 feet, okay? So I have a couple of images of developments. So this is a rear-loaded type of product, so meaning that the garage is right here in the back, but the main entrance or the facade of the dwellings are right here. Actually, you can see a door right here. This is what a product looks like, and these are 6 units only. But this is what a product will look like if, well, that's how we allow it right now. So right now, we allow 6 units and a setback of 25 feet, okay? If we increase it to 8, what we will be doing is adding an extra mass of 2 units right here to make maybe and again, based on aesthetics, a longer alley on the front yard. Because what happens is right here, this is the property line where the neighbor can raise up their fence up to 10 feet if they desire to do that. But again, the Planning Commission, their recommendation is to approve it like this. I have got another, this is the same area, just on a different perspective. Again, this is what it looks like when you have 25 feet. And that's what the recommendation of approval was. The other 3 members would like to have something more along these lines where you have a staggering setbacks. As you can see, this unit is closer, this one's a little back, and the setback is a little bit bigger. So that's what the recommendation. But the actual code amendment is simple. It's just go from 6 to 8 dwellings. Okay? That's what I have, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. In case you guys
Thank you, thank
any
you.
questions?
Nope, I don't think so. All right, we'll open this up to a public hearing. Okay, is the applicant here? Joe, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've got? And would just remind you to keep your comments short,
Sure,
if you would, please.
no problem. I've got a little presentation, but I don't even know if I need it. So why don't I just
Just tell us
open
your
up to your
thoughts.
questions?
Was it like a video presentation?
No, it's just a little PowerPoint that goes through, but I mean, basically, my goal is to build as many 3 and 4 bedroom units as I can. I'm gonna need some 2-bedroom. Right now, I've got about 22 or 23% of my units are 2 bedrooms. My request is to have 8, to go up to 8 plexes, because that reduces the footprint of my buildings and the associated setbacks, because I can have more units together. That allows me to have 75, 78% of my units is 3 bedrooms, which is more family-oriented. I can get my density with 6 plexes, but I'll have to do probably double the 2-bedroom units. So I'll probably have half of them. And 2-bedroom units are more conducive to smaller families and mostly roommate situations. My target demographic for all of my projects is families, and I think that's really what it comes down to, so.
I mean, if you have a slideshow that you presented that's, I mean, can I explain it in more detail?
I can go through it super quickly.
I
Can
think that
borrow
would be
your
fine.
computer
I
again?
think if you've taken the
Yeah.
time to come, then, just so I can make sure I have a better understanding about the project.
Sure. And I got to be careful to not make this about my project, because this is a code amendment for the whole city.
Yep.
Although there's
Wait,
very
isn't
little
this
land.
just the C2, is this?
It's just a C2 zone.
C2 zone, which there's very little land left to even
Yeah.
do this, so.
You have
So it
basically
probably
almost
will
all of
just
it.
end up being this project.
Yeah.
Do I just plug this in, or is it?
It's already there.
It's already there? Okay.
What do you want to
I just need to go to the email, pull it up from there. I didn't have time to get on a thumb drive, sorry. Thank you.
Joe, you need a stronger password.
You need to not use your birth date.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
I'm
good point.
teasing.
Okay. Sorry, I'm using your screen. I'm so used to it. Okay. So I can just flip. So this is basically the site plan. You can see, where's my pointer? Here, and the other thing this enables me to do that I didn't mention is all these units here are front load units. Daniel prefers those, I prefer those. Means they have bigger garages, they're bigger units.
Yes.
They're more aesthetically pleasing, so I'm able to get more of those. Now, this is not a final site plan, I'm still working it, but so far, this works. So, but this is an 8-plex, this is an 8-plex, here's an 8-plex, here's an 8-plex, these are both 8-plexes, this is an 8-plex, and then I've got a couple 7-plexes, this one, and then a 4-plex and a 6-plex. So, you know, over half my buildings are 8-plexes. The other thing that it'll do, it enable me to have more contiguous open space, so I can have a nicer, bigger park area. Let me go through just quickly. Let's see. This is for my other text amendment coming up next. So, yeah, the goal is to get more families, less singles and less roommates, more people and consumers living next to the commercial, more particularly Smiths. Oh, well, that's nice. It's not loading fully. I was just going to show a couple of my other projects where so this is what a 6-plex, this isn't a really nice rendering, this is the only one I had available, but that's what a 6-plex would look like with the product that I'm looking to build.
Daniel, I think that's kind of what the one you show us with the staggered and, okay. we're
So
good, Joe.
this is a 6 or an 8? But you want to go 8?
Did I say 6? I
You said
apologize.
6.
That's an 8-plex.
Okay.
Right here's an 8-plex.
Okay.
Now, this does have stagger. Some of my buildings won't stagger. My goal is to have as many as I can stagger. You can see my site plan currently shows most of them staggering. This is my product in East Draper. This is an actual built project. This is only a 5-plex, but I wanted to show you I still have some nice articulation. These red gables kind of pop out, and I still have.
But you wouldn't consider this staggered?
It's not fully staggered, but if I don't have a really deep staggered, I still have some articulation in the buildings. I'm not just doing flat facades. And here's another angle of that same product that I would be building here. The other project that I'm doing west of your Smiths, all my buildings are going to look like this. So it's still, again, I've still got a little bit of articulation. They're not just flat facades. This is the product where I have more articulation in the same product type, where I'm incorporating 2-bedroom units. This is a project that I built a few hundred of these, 280 of these in Bluffdale. Okay. That's it. There it is right there, the same product. So really the solution is just to amend the code to allow for more units per building, 8 instead of 6. And I'm building the exact same product in Harriman. I'm doing up to 10, 8 and 10-plex buildings. So it's not uncommon. It's not unheard of.
Yeah, but we're not Harriman.
You're not.
Yeah.
Good point. Just throwing it out there.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Yep. Any other questions?
No, let's.
We'll let you know if we
We'll
do.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave that open.
Stay,
'cause my
stay
other-
close.
Maybe just sit in that front row right there, Joe. Maybe just sit right there in case we do have questions.
So we'd like to open this up to a public hearing and hear community's thoughts on this project and ordinance. Okay, I guess we'll close the public hearing, bring it back up here, and have a conversation with the council.
So I'm kind of not loving the look. And I agree with the planning commission members that there's to me, it looks like army barracks, especially adding 2 more units in that straight line. It's a completely flat roof without it staggered. I don't love it. I like some of your other
What
designs.
do you like, Sid?
Well, the other design that you had with the pitched roof and staggered, that's fine. I don't know if I love going another 2 units just because it looks like I said, a row of army barracks. The flat roof, I just don't love that. That's what it reminds me of. And I think to have that many units down in that area, I like some of the other pictures you showed, but not the one that Daniel was presenting for us, especially to add 2 more units. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay, Eric?
So Joe, can we pull up his slideshow and I think it's the second last slide? You said you're not going to build those, this is quite a bit of staggering here, but,
Can you go back to my site plan there, Daniel? So the majority, yeah, go back down. So you can see
Yeah,
all these buildings currently show all that staggering.
okay.
In fact, every single one of these buildings has staggering, but again, I'm not final. And
Then why don't you just show us, Daniel, why don't you just show us what, this is a top view. Show us a side view of what that would look like.
that was that picture we just looked at.
Let's go back to it.
The one I had,
Sorry,
I
go
think
down.
what this shows is the staggering's gonna be on the non-visible part. The staggering will be on the back end, not the street visible part.
Correct. This is, Joe, now this is one of the site plans, right? But we have two different site
Yeah,
plans.
this
that
is
we
one of the site plans. My other site plan, which is Fossil Cove, is gonna have the more flat look. But I'm sticking with the sixplexes on that project.
So how many units are we talking with the flat roof and that you want in the 8
Yeah,
units?
all these will have about approximately the same. These might be a little bit different, but they're gonna all have about that same roof pitch.
And what about non-staggered?
Here, I'm currently not showing any non-staggered.
And but is this the site you're planning on, I mean, is this,
Well, subject to a lot of things.
Yeah, we just have to be careful that,
because we're not approving a site plan.
yeah.
Yeah, we're trying not to do it specific to the site
Like,
plan.
once you approve
You're just
whatever,
talking
then
about-
he can work
go.
within that parameter.
So here's what I like. Go ahead.
Okay, just one more thing. Daniel? Okay, I know do you want another minute with him?
No, I.
Do you have any recommendations for us right now in our conversation?
Well, I just want to point out that the way the current ordinance amendment is drafted, the staggering is not required. All you're considering is to allow the 8.
So my legal question is, if we are going to approve that, but with a stagger, does that take it back a step and we have to bring it forward again?
No,
Okay.
you're not required to send it back to the planning commission. You can if you choose, but you're the ultimate legislative body.
it'd be a conditional use, right, on there?
Condition.
It is already
Condition.
conditional.
It's already a conditional use. But I wouldn't rely on the fact that it's a conditional use to guarantee that you're gonna get staggering, because there's no place in the ordinance that requires that as a criteria for that conditional use.
Okay, so here's my question, and I'm wondering if we can do this. Daniel, can you show, because I want to make sure that what we condition is legally,
Binding on the other side.
Enforceable.
Yeah.
so Daniel, there was a picture that you showed of a building that had 8, but it was in an L configuration. Can you pull that one up really quick?
Yes, and that picture, Joe, it's one of the developments that you did. I think that's the one she wants to see.
I still don't like 8. I don't like 8.
It was
I
down
al-
there, the
and
next
I-
one down.
There's a
Oh, no,
couple.
that works there
That's
too.
That's one on Covell Village, and there's also right here,
This is an L-shaped building.
this one
there.
right
So
here.
that, this building L,
Building, yes.
okay, so I'm okay, I don't know how we word this, but I'm okay with a different configuration like that, but I'm also wondering about police and fire. If a configuration like that is like, is it safe? Can we get
Well, and
you've got a lot of families here living close together.
whether it's relevant or not, I'm not proposing to do any L-shaped buildings. The site that I'm dealing with is very, very restricted. Very,
Okay.
very restrictive. And that's why I'm coming to ask for another couple code amendments, because instead of asking for more density, like the last up-team
Okay,
developers over the
so
last 30
you-
years have been doing, I'm trying to fit in with all of your codes and ordinances and just
Okay.
have a couple little modifications
So
to make it work.
you have come a few times
Mm-hmm.
asking for different code amendments, different changes, and we've been very honoring of that. We don't like the flat building. We like staggering, but I don't even know that in your site plan, that's enough stagger for us. Is that what I'm
Well, in my
feeling?
current site plan, I have all the staggering that you're looking at.
We need, I guess, let me kind of summation, give you a summation. I think, oh, Brett, go ahead.
No, I'm concerned relative to, there was a study that Daniel prepared a while ago regarding high density in Pleasant Grove. We have, what, 32%?
36.
36% high density. Now, I understand that there's a difficulty with where the land that you're dealing with. But when you say I'm only concerned about adding, really what you want to do is maximize the dirt you got. Isn't that true?
Correct.
By adding 2 more units to this. Now,
To each building.
yeah, to each building. My feeling is if that's what you're asking for, then we need to make sure that either the setback or the staggering occurs. And we need to tighten that down as opposed to saying, okay, we're going to approve this at 8, and then you're going to go out there and say, well, how can I maximize the income on this? Because it costs more to stagger it. I don't like the setbacks or something like that, and then we're caught. So my feeling is until we can nail down legally what we're agreeing if we go to the 8, my vote would be not to approve this.
Okay, and I can totally do that. I can stick with the 6 plexes. I just have to do about 50% of my project is 2 bedrooms. And I actually make more money that way. That's not my target demographic. I actually make more money like almost any developer. You make your most money on your smallest units. You get higher rent per square foot. So I can do that. I feel it's better for the community, and I feel it's better for me. Obviously, I'm here for a reason,
Yeah.
to get 3 and 4 bedroom units and less 2 bedroom units. So that's really what this comes down to. I can go build it according to your current zone and do a bunch of 6 plexes and keep them all flat. I'm not threatening that. I'm not saying I'm going to do that. I'm saying I could do that. But I think that
You maximize your income also.
I'm going to
by going
maximize the income
to
by
3 or
doing,
4.
well, and I can't fit them because I have to have setbacks on, because I'll have to have a lot more buildings if I go down. So my goal in talking with staff and others is to maximize the 3 and 4 bedroom units, not necessarily to maximize
but
my
Joe, I
number of
think-
units,
I
because
think what-
I can get 86 units either way.
I think what you're maybe you're not hearing what Councilperson Bullock's saying is that we're okay with the 8, but we're not okay with 8 straight units that look like tough sheds, right? We want some
Give and take.
give and take, and as Brent's mentioned, some legality, some legal teeth that says, hey, if we're going to give you 8, we want to make sure that they're visually appealing, and because you're right, because once this is done, you could come right back to us and say, yeah, but I can't, I got to put another bedroom in here, and I've got, and then we're bound, right? So we're going to probably need to rely on.
Stagger is actually subjective.
It is subjective, very subjective. So, Tina, I don't know how we do this. I think we're all in an agreement of what we are able to approve or want to approve. We're okay with eight dwellings, but those 8 dwellings can't be.
I think we probably just a little more uniqueness. Like that's why I had you pull that one picture up, right? And I don't know if that can work or not. I think maybe it works with your 2 bedroom. I don't know.
What I saw is I looked at those and thought, they kind of look like cargo containers.
Okay?
You know what I mean? We don't want cargo containers down there.
Okay.
We want some visible variation dimensions to those. And if you can somehow legally give us those, we'll allow you to go 8. How do we do that?
So Daniel suggested that the council continue it to the 21st and allow the applicant and community development to come up with some language that implements the council's desires with regard to that.
Some setbacks,
Yeah,
some
I'm not in
dimensions.
favor of doing legislation on the fly. Anything that we come up with tonight would be,
Yeah. Joe, you okay with that?
so it'd be the 21st, Joe.
And is that something that staff is going to recommend, or we're gonna work together and recommend it, or how does that work?
What I'm proposing is that you and I sit down together. We heard what the council wants. You want some staggering, something that we can actually put into writing with the design of the buildings that you have, work on it, and present the language of maybe we come up, and this is just an idea, like 50% of the building needs to be present a different setback or something like that. You and I work on that language, sorry, and then we'll bring it back in 2 weeks to them.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I think that'll be easy to accomplish.
And is that the same for 9B, or is this just 9A?
That's just
That's
9A.
that's a different item.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we'll, I
you-
need to make a motion to continue, right? So I'll take a motion to continue agenda item 9A.
I'd move that we continue this to.
Okay, we got a
21st.
motion from Councilperson Bullock. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye. Motion passes, continued until the 21st. Okay, we're going to move to 9B. I'm actually going to excuse myself and turn this over to the Mayor Pro Tem Anderson, and I will go represent us at the Pleasant Grove basketball game.
And while we're shifting chairs, I don't know if you guys saw on the news, but there was a Todd Williams' son, Andrew, that scored 2 3-pointers that launched Pleasant Grove into
overtime.
overtime. So that's where he's running. We're playing Riverton at 7 o'clock. Go Vikings. Go Williams, dressed as Vikings. Okay, now I'll just get my wits around about me. So Mayor Pro Tem Anderson has now taken over. You vote me in an hour ago and boom. All right, so let's move on to public hearing 9B. This is a public hearing to consider adoption of ordinance 2020-2, amending the city code, and we'll turn the time over to Director Cardenas.
Thank you. Council members, and Mayor Pro Tem, right? That's what you.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and.
You can
and
approach
council.
me as Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro
You
Tem.
can approach the bench with. Yeah.
Oh, you're either way.
Diana. I get no respect here.
This code amendment it's for the modification of the design standards that we have for the roof slopes of the roof pitches of dwellings in Pleasant Grove. Here I would like to start with this image. This image shows different roof slopes, roof types. This one is really interesting. I just barely saw that butterfly. I don't know who built something like that. But anyway, our code right now in Pleasant Grove requires for all the dwellings to present or to show in the roof a pitch of 612, okay? Now I'm gonna go to the next image and show what a pitch of 612 is. There's the slope. It's about 26 degrees of inclination, kind of like that. So our code requires right now that all the dwellings in the CS2 zone present a roof that has a slope to it, okay? We don't have that requirement for single-family dwellings anywhere else. So the large majority of our city that has single-family dwellings, they can do any type of roof they would like to design their dwellings. But here we do have that requirement. So what the applicant is proposing is to remove pretty much the requirement, the design requirement that we have for the CS2 zone to come up or to build or design the buildings with a roof pitch. What the applicant is proposing is to be able to design a roof with the modern architecture design of flat roofs. In regards to a structural, flat roofs, I think they're gaining traction. Before I came to Pleasant Grove, I was in charge of all the dwellings in the canyons, and even in the canyons with the heavy snow loads, people are able to design or engineer roofs that are flat. And in reality, no roof is completely flat. There's always a little bit of inclination for for the runoff and the melting of, for drainage, okay? But what the applicant is proposing, again, is to eliminate this requirement that requires a pitch over 80% of the area of the roof for the dwellings. We present this item to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission study it, analyze it, and they recommend, they forward recommendation of approval unanimously for the removal of the pitch requirement for the roofs in the zone. Okay?
All right.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel. So this is a public hearing item. And Joe, would you like to speak to this? And I think it would be appropriate if you had any photos of what you're thinking. And Daniel, honestly, is there any, other than this Smith's Block, is there any other areas in the city where this would be applicable?
That we require the pitch?
Uh-huh.
Yes, right now we will require pitch for all the dwellings in the, yes, and in the Grove,
Okay,
anywhere in the Grove.
that's what I thought. Okay.
What did you say?
In the
You
Grove.
do require
I do require them in the Grove, yes.
a
pitch.
specific 12?
Mhm.
Okay.
For residential units only, not for commercial, for
So
residential.
commercial is flat.
Correct.
So I've got a product, a few different products. I can build what I already have. I see the design trend like he mentioned. That's kind of the trend, going a little more modern, sleek,
Yeah.
minimalist.
Do you have any gardens on the roofs?
Nope.
Okay.
I am doing a project downtown with 64 townhomes where we're doing rooftop decks. People can just go hang out and there's
Ooh.
little flower boxes and stuff,
Yeah.
little gardening boxes, but we don't have any full rooftop gardens. But here's some examples. These aren't necessarily my products, all of them, but these are, this is the kind of look and feel that's dominating Parade of Homes events now, all over Utah, all over the nation. And this is the look and feel that we're kind of going for. This is the product that I'm building downtown. This is super urban and flat roof, and this is the one where I'm doing some rooftop decks. Not necessarily proposing that here. Here's another type of design.
Wait, go back to that last one. So would anything like that be in store for Pleasant Grove at all?
Possibly, yeah. I haven't fully designed and built out what we're doing yet, but I want to go and finalize. And I mean, I've got some concept plans, but this is the look and feel that we're going for.
Okay.
See, but none of these really look like the project that you're presenting.
Yeah, and
he's
that
got two.
project isn't flat roof. This is all more flat roof and more modern.
This one
style.
is on the south side of Smith's.
Yeah. So the product that I showed you
One that
before is what I'm already
is on the
doing,
west side of Smith's.
and
I
this
thought
is
what Daniel presented with that row of 6 to 8 with the flat roof, that was what you're proposing by
those aren't
Smith's.
flat roofs. Those are 412 roof pitches.
Yeah.
So those are currently allowed.
And that is to the west of Smith's.
What's this project called again? I can't remember, you named it.
Fossil.
Fossil Cove is on the west, and this one technically now that I'm buying already a project called Village Square, but I'm probably going to combine them both and call them both Fossil.
So do you have a rendering of what you're proposing?
I don't necessarily have anything that I'm going to propose. I've got many different mock-ups and ideas, but it'll look similar to this type of product. This is one concept that I've got. It's not very well colored, but that's kind of a concept. One of the ones that we've come up with. So like he said, nothing's a 0-12 roof pitch, perfectly flat. It'll be a 1/2-inch 12 minimum, because you always want some water to shed.
So in 12 feet, it would drop a 1/2 inch.
I think that's it. Any other questions?
No. All right, thanks, Joe. It is a public hearing, so if anyone would like to speak to this item, now is your chance. I see that they're thinking about it. No? All right, we'll close the public hearing portion and we'll open it up for comments.
I'm okay with it. I like the different looks. I mean, like, again, you're seeing it all over the place. It gives a little bit different uniqueness to that area. And so,
Are these 2- and 3-bedroom? Or in the south side, it would ju- 2, 3, and 4, okay. I also like the diversity, and clearly, we like staggered, just so you know.
I do too,
Okay.
if possible.
Judge, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. So,
I don't like it. I think for a commercial building, it's fine, not for a row of townhomes. I think the more we change the pitch, you're getting into, like I said, it's like an army barrack look. Without that pitch to give it some height and just a little bit of dimension, that's what it feels like to me. So I don't love it.
and design-wise, it is just a little bit more of a contemporary look, so. All right, so does anybody want to make a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson, I make a motion for adoption of ordinance 2020-2, amending City Code Section 10-11-D-16-C, CS2 Commercial Cells 2 Zone, Multiple Family Residential Development Requirements required building design by changing the requirement for roof pitch and providing for effective date.
All right, can I respond in that motion as council member or as mayor?
No.
You're permitted to vote as a council member even while you're serving as mayor pro
Okay.
tem.
All right, well, then I'll second that motion. All in favor? Oh, roll
That's a
call.
roll call.
Because it is, gosh, I failed my Roberts
First thing on the job.
You're first, I think.
within my first minutes. All right, so I call for a roll call vote. All right, so we'll start with Diana Anderson, and I'm a yes. Brent Bullock,
No.
and that's a no. Eric Jensen?
Yes?
Yes, and Sid,
No.
all right.
You now get to vote as mayor pro tem to break the tie.
And where do I mark that? Kathy?
So,
I think it'd be under
In
this.
case of a tie,
You may put
and then
Mayor
I
Pro-
sign it,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna vote yes.
I wanted to see you have like a split personality, like one vote's no and one vote's yes.
And I'll say Mayor Pro Tem. All right, so then because
Have we ever had that
of
before?
my dual
I don't think we've ever-
personality,
okay.
I get, it passes. And the motion was by Eric and seconded by Diana. All right. So then we move on. And, so that one's done. Now we move to action items, and we're gonna, this is 10A. We're gonna consider for approval a 7-lot, approximately of 11 acres, mixed-use final subdivision plat called the Boulevard Subdivision Plat A on property located at approximately 13th West and Pleasant Grove Boulevard in the Grove Zone District. The Boulevard is mixed-use overlay. Director Cardenas. This is something we've been waiting for a long time.
Correct. So Mayor Pro Tem Council, I get excited when projects get to move along. We've been working on this for some time, and now the first steps are, we start seeing them, right? So what the applicant is proposing right now, or for this item, is a 7-lot. Our applicant is McKay Christensen, and it's a mixed-use subdivision plat. This is an aerial view used to help us out locate ourselves. This is doTERRA, Pleasant Grove Boulevard, okay? And yeah, this is 1300 West. So this is a piece of land that the applicant and staff, we have been working together for quite some time to make sure that complies with the requirements of the city, and it's also a good development. The zone for this project, it's the Grove Zone and the Boulevard Mixed Use Overlay. So there's an overlay on top of it. So at this time, we're not trying to approve a site plan, but a plat. So what we're doing is the subdivision of land for future development. This is what the applicant is proposing. This is what the engineering department and planning staff have reviewed. Again, it's a 7-lot mixed-use subdivision. The applicant may have more information, but I know the Lot 4, Lot 1, and Lot 5 are going to be residential. And then we have Lot 7, Lot 6, 2, and 3 to be office use or retail commercial use. Okay, but it's very important to know or to mention too that at this point, what we're doing is working with the applicant for the dedication and construction of 100 South. So then we have connectivity right there, that road that we've been looking forward to have, right? And it will cut the development, but it still be part of the whole project going on. This item went to the Planning Commission. Staff, like I say, have been working on this, and Planning Commission for a recommendation, unanimous recommendation of approval, as long as the final planning and engineering requirements are met. Okay.
All right, thank you. And I see McKay back there. So if you'd like to come up and tell us anything, I'd love an update. And anyway, so then we can talk about the plat.
Well, congratulations, everybody, on getting sworn in. That's kind of
Thank you.
fun. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
What do you want to know as far as an update goes? I mean, we're obviously really excited. We want to start breaking ground, pretty everything up so it starts looking presentable, and then we'll obviously get into developing each one of those lots. The updates that I can give you is that we've got the way that the lots are broken down, and Daniel kind of said this. We actually are planning more retail and office than we previously had. I think before, the way that the Grove overlay contemplates, it's 25,000 square feet of commercial commercial space, of which half of that needed to be retail or income producing, if that's the correct language. Sales tax generating, that's right. And right now, we've got 3 out parcel pads. So Lot 7, Lot 3, and Lot 2 are basically out parcel pads that are kind of designated as restaurant pads. Met with Kevin Santiago on site the other day, as we've talked about before. He's very excited, and we're still working with him on trying to bring in the tenants that we previously discussed. Met with another group on lot number 7, which is the hard corner. It would be probably pretty easy for us to sell that to a McDonald's or something like that, but that is not the direction that we're going. We're going for fast casual and sit down stuff, and we think that is the consistent with the design and the plan. Lot 6 is an office building. You can see it's a little bit odd shaped, but that's right now it's going to be an office building, primarily because we get a lot of shared parking and everything out of all of those uses. And then there's townhomes in the back, and then on those lots along the very back, as we originally had them contemplated, and then the middle section is the sort of apartment / mixed use component that we have in there. So everything's coming along, and we're just trying to get the road designed and done and start construction so we can get rolling on everything.
Oh, this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thanks.
So again, this application is for the plat, but also,
Yes.
okay, if you want to tell them that we already start working on the actual site plan, and staff right now is reviewing the buildings and building envelopes, parking, so we're working on that, which, by the way, you'll have your comments pretty soon. Okay?
All right. All right, with that, any conversation here that we want to have?
I think we've been over it in the past, unless.
Okay. So I'd like to entertain go ahead.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion for approval of a 7-lot, approximately 11.7 acres, mixed-use final subdivision plat called the Boulevard Subdivision Plat A on property located approximately 1300 West and Pleasant Grove Boulevard in the Grove Zone District, the Boulevard Mixed-Use Overlay, Sam White's Lane neighborhood.
All right, I have a motion by Eric or Councilman Jensen,
I second.
and I have a second by, do we call him councilman or do we just call him judge?
Just call me Brent.
Brent. All right, and this is just, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
And opposed?
I need to remain consistent. Okay. I voted no before because of the density, and I'm going to keep
Okay.
with that, so.
All right. Is this the right one? Nope, that's not the right one. And I don't know where this one was, so we'll look at that in a minute. All right. All right, 10B, except for I can't find.
It's been continued.
Oh, continued.
That'd be continue.
Okay, so we already went through the whole staff review. Anything that you would like to say about the meeting on the 21st?
Yeah, we'll have a public hearing on the recycle rates, so that will be in front of you. That will probably be the big thing that we're doing. And we also have is it a bond resolution?
Bond resolution.
To get the money for the filters on the secondary water.
Okay,
So those are probably, and there are a couple other items, but we'll update you on those via email, but those are the two big ones.
all right. Anything else, anybody else here wants to mention? All right.
No.
Brent, welcome. And with that, I'd like to have someone make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.